Okay, you ready? Let's get this freak show on the road. Fuck this. Fucker.
I ain't no goddamn Nazi.
See, that's what I'm talking about, Blazkowicz! You want to strike fear in the Nazis? You want to hit them hard for all to see? You want to cause some real motherfucking havoc?
What the hell? They got rocket trains now.
Shouldn't really be allowed to play this game on these specs. I constantly get warned about it. I am Couchcoop, by the way. This is Wolfenstein II on Ultra at 1080 and I get 60 frames per second. I've never seen such fast improvements on a PlayStation 4 game put onto the PC. Coming off the back of the Rage 2 review on PlayStation 5, this pips it and beats it in areas for just sheer in-your-face violence and bullets.
Fergus can be very sweet when
I'm pretty sure I'm one of the more mature gaming YouTubers in the Western speaking world. I have the luck of being able to remember the first day I ever saw the original Wolfenstein. My mate's mum, right, she had like a BBC or it might have been a DOS, but we got it running on there. I was so young and the voice sampling, my Lieben, that stuck with me right to this day. But it was the first real 3D shooter that I'd ever clapped eyes on. And what a joy to be on the planet long enough to see this sort of thing go to this sort of thing. Wolfenstein II, the new Colossus, came out in 2017. I thought it was a little bit later than that. I thought it was 2018. That year, again, was extremely busy for me. What did I do with this? Played it for 5 hours, stuck it on a single player list, didn't give it any more thought. The reason being is that front end is so much like the previous game. I think that's there to sort of comfort people who are looking for that familiarity with the series, but it goes really crazy. I also forgot about the wheelchair stuff, a little bit reminiscent of the beginning of Metal Gear 5, but it all just started rushing back to me and the reasons that I walked away from it, and thank God I've gone back to it. I finished the first one and I loved it. I got really invested with all those characters and I was very much up for something new being brought to the table, but under that canon of mass Nazi killing. And you do get that at the front end, but I was just like, my God, it is not doing anything different. And I just put it down and I solely regret that. That was 6 years ago and the tech to run this game is obviously well old now. So whacking it on the old GTX 1660, putting it up to Ultra and seeing 60 frames on a game I first played on a PlayStation 4 base machine was this month's greatest moment. You having greatest gaming moments, are you now, in your months? Yeah, and it was Cyberpunk's patch 2.0 firing from the vehicle. Was the, you know, it was sat on that original pedestal. Along comes new Colossus. Why is it so good? Why have you considered it on the channel for 2023? Well, it's made by id, and you'll know that I'm doing a bit of a sort of backlog on them at the moment, what with Rage 2 and all of the Doom games, Eternal. We've got a new Doom coming up. They were a very solid developer, and they still are to a certain extent, so I feel this is worth a look.
That's it. Controller bay.
Also completely hell-bent on Nazi lore, be it incorrect, fantastical, or even accurate to, you know, some of the weapon development. It's one hell of a rabbit hole, and it just goes crazier. This features some of the maddest theories and ideas. You're talking flying saucers, giant mechs. You've got hints at the Bell in here, and you've also got automata like that guy in Hellboy. You really do not want for any more crazy, outlandish Nazi machinery and death-killing contraptions. The original featured parts of Germania in Europe, but this is a global Nazi takeover, so you're visiting America on its knees. It's a pretty out there story and setting, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. With this added lighting and smoothness on detail, all the surfaces and the enemies themselves, the machines and the guns and the sparks, just the way everything melts and the speed of it all, it's like something else. It doesn't feel like when I first played this game. There are no major added specs for the PlayStation 5 in this game. There certainly isn't a PlayStation 5 version, so this is sort of the best place you can find it. And you guessed it, lo and behold, £7 a month on Game Pass. Absolutely beautiful deal. The reason you probably haven't heard of this, or it isn't at the front of your mind, is because they released a third game a couple of years ago, even about a year ago, that was a disaster. Had these two women in it. It was just no good. No one bought it. I watched from the sidelines as the Wolfenstein IP coiled up and died, annoyingly. It might come back, and that's why I fired this up again. I just had a craving for it, and I saw it on the thumbnail. I'm like, man, I need to see how this runs on the PC, and lo and behold, look at these particles. So I'm constantly getting this message every time I die on the operating system going, you haven't got enough RAM to be running this like you are. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's fine, just keep going. And until I hit a frame drop, or until it crashed or popping got too difficult to handle, I was leaving it there. And I've left it there. It's still going. These interiors. I was so gobsmacked at this. I really had to sit back in my chair and think, holy crap. 2017, 2018 and 2019 are a real sweet spot for getting games out on the PC and running them at top specs.
Fuck!
What's up, Hattie?
These fucking radiation scars on my belly. It's like a motherfucker lately. Takes all my willpower not to scratch.
Well, they got this amazing scientist here. Seth, I think it was. Go see if you got a soothing ointment or something.
I don't know, Lainey. Don't want to bother him with a fucking itch. And that fucking monkey cat, whatever it is, just freaks the shit out of me.
So I got to the actual mainland and managed to get out the submarine, do all those submissions and see, you know, what all the reviewers were showing off, that Ku Klux Klan scene, everyone knows it, and occupied America. Wow, it was almost a Fallout-esque scene for me, and the planes flew over, but I was a bit disappointed. I thought this was going to allow a little bit of Atomic Heart, like Evil Within 2 sort of open world area, maybe have a few tasks to run around and get sorted out, but no, it is quite railsy, it is still quite linear. With that linear corridor game model in mind, it really throws the book at you visually. Everywhere you go has been meticulously laid out. It's just stunning on a lighting level, with a lot of the smoke and derelict areas. I was just slowly trying to soak it all up, but it pushes you along. You're not really supposed to be in certain areas. You've got to get your tasks done and get out of there. I was playing that Metro, the PlayStation 5 version of it, and this is head and shoulders above some of those rubble scenes and derelict areas. But then again, a lot more open world. This is very much down the middle on a rails front. It then sort of goes a little bit guerrilla warfare with this derelict area on the mainland, and my eyes were opened a little bit by better AI. The guys in the yellow suits, they're not thick, and they try and flank you, they take cover, they're quite organised, and you've got flying robots coming around. It had a bit of a Half-Life feel to it, and I never got to these levels. I was so annoyed with myself. How on earth do these controls work? Because I can see you dual wielding, switching guns out. It's got a very intuitive system on the up and directional button, and you just pull out your next selected gun in your other hand and you can switch them out. You can have dual shotguns. Dual wielding is something that needs to come back a lot more. We had it in Halo 3. I just think it's a really cool thing, and if you want to expend that ammunition and be a badass, you can. This scene is so funny. There's a flying robot outside. They're coming in from everywhere. You don't really have a scanner. You just have to listen out. You get shot in the back. You just have to deal with it immediately before they, ping one in your head. But the run speed, the pace at which I could clear off down those stairs when I felt I'd had enough of this situation just made me grin from ear to ear. You'll notice a number, signal detected, and that is a captain. So that's a guy who is standing around waiting for you to backstab him. He's a senior officer, and sometimes they have dogs with them. The scenes are quite tense. You got to creep up to them and they will alarm everybody if you're clocked sticking the old bayonet in the neck. Did you see that thing jump on the window? Half of my pull with this is seeing what I'm going to have to fight next. The first one had like amazing robot dogs and a lot of big like mech dreadnought almost armored suit dudes. So this one so far is doing quite well, but I know there's a bit more to come. I'm about 3/4 of the way through the story, and that's why I stopped to put the video out. I've got to be really careful about spoiling quite a cool story with what you get shown about this empire. That could be a UFO, that could be the Nazi Glocke. We will have to wait and see, and tell me if you start playing this game in the comments, or if you went through it back in 2017, because hell, I didn't really touch on a lot of the free DLC that comes with downloading this off Game Pass, and there's all these little separate character-driven missions. Some guys have got special moves, they can run through walls, and you've got so much more content to get your teeth into after finishing that campaign. You may not be aware of the current scandal on YouTube at the moment with SS Sniper Wolf and her just lazily stealing TikToks, talking over them and getting 55 million subscribers from that. She's getting pulled up on it. All you original content creators, let's all high five, alright? We could see a cull coming. I'll see you down there.